Figured I'd take a quick video just showing that the laptop essentially works. I'm on YouTube right now. There's no issues. I can load up a video. It'll load up no problem. As you can see, I watch a lot of game videos. This one says 4K. Let's load it. This has been going on for about 2 weeks on YouTube. I don't know if that's related or not, but it eventually goes away. This isn't a 4K laptop, so we'll put it at 1080. There's no point doing 4K when the monitor physically can't display 4K. And now it's just dependent on my connection speed. While that's caching. So the funny thing is I've been experiencing issues with the GPU for like the last 2 weeks or so. Actually a little longer than that. Temperatures at idle are fine, but temperatures while gaming were continuing to skyrocket. I was hitting 90 plus on games that I'd never hit before, to the point that it became I had to put the fan to max speed just to be able to maintain 90 Celsius playing a game. As you can see here, it looks like it's working. If I load up Combustor, you'll see that it so very much so does not work. So go away. And that video is caching. So the interesting thing is, if I run a physics test, like let's run physics GPU hard, and let's put the resolution up to 2560 by 1440, run test. And you'd think at that resolution, 22 frames, that's not bad. That latency isn't terrible. Look at the GPU load and the GPU power. It's not able to detect any voltage coming from the GPU. GPU load is below 20%. Oh, that hit 22. GPU temp, this is not going to get any higher than that no matter what I do. And then look at this. Memory clock, 2000 megahertz. That would seem interesting, especially this 1400 megahertz, except for the fact I undervolted the GPU, so it shouldn't even be running that high, but it is. So anyway, physics looks like it's working. Let's put you down here. However, if I run let's do MSI burn-in, and still 2560 by 1440. There you are. Look at the latency. 340 ms, 330 ms average, with spikes up to 1400 ms. And GPU load shows as 0, yet we are using the 1060 in here. So, however, we're rendering this image with 0% load, and again, it's still not detecting any voltage from the GPU. GPU temperature, it's pretty nice, but Look here. We're not running the physics test anymore. Look at the memory clock. Dropped down to 200. GPU clock dropped down to way, way below. Voltage only shows as half a volt. Now, let's close that because that's not going to show anything. Alright, full screen. Oh, that's shiny. And this video again's at 1080p. It plays fine. This is whatever quality. Wow. So yeah, videos work just fine. Let's try an old game first. I honestly haven't tried to see if an old game would run. Now this is just all cell animation, so there's no real 3D power required here. Anyway, back when Need for Speed games were still good. Okay, well, you might be able to get some gaming in. Oh, shit. See, it renders some things fine. Now, let's try to load a modern game and see what happens. Now, this is a game I normally play all the time. I've got a lot of hours logged on this game. At most, I might get the loading to show is happening, and then it's just gonna freaking just completely quit working. Or it may black screen. Let's find out. What's interesting is I'm not exactly sure what has failed with this graphics card, because some things, as you can see, work. I assure you this will not last long. I've tried this 3 different times, and once it starts to do things, it just says, fuck this shit, I'm out. Up to 70 degrees though, so hey. Okay, well, I didn't tell you to go back below deck, but that's fine. There we are. So, I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm going through the menus here. And the game is frozen at this point. At least the 3D portion of it's frozen. It's still trying to do something, but there's nothing there. And the interesting thing is, oh, it did dismiss the menu that time. Okay, so it dismissed the menu, but it's not showing any selections on that menu. So let me try to bring up my HUD. I can hear the sound effects from my HUD. Okay, that one doesn't work. Also, I can't escape out. So at this point, it's completely frozen. It just, and actually the screen dimmed just now, so I should get a DirectX error here shortly saying blah blah blah, can't render, whatever. So the interesting thing is that I can still, tab out. And you'll see here, Elite Dangerous, it's using far more processor power than it should, and GPU usage is 0. So I can minimize that, And if we go back to GPU Z and sensors, look at that, 200 megahertz and a half volt. So again, it looks like it's running, but it's really not. And again, these should be highlighting if I'm scrolling over them, and nothing. Now I have no sound. The game's completely frozen. There we are. Blah, 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 blah. I assure you it does. So I'm going to hit abort, and there we go. Game's crashed. But, let's try another old game. Nope. Now I believe that's an error related to that game itself, so let's try Need for Speed 3 again. Need for Speed 4 has some stability issues running on Windows 10, even with its compatibility modes, or so it says. It doesn't run right. So yeah, it can render this just fine. So, yeah, there's a semi-working laptop with a malfunctioning GPU. The best I can conjecture is there was maybe too much not Arctic diamond, but icy diamond applied to the GPU die. It seeped into the transistors, and through some hot and cold cycles, and when I removed the heat sink to clean it and put new thermal compound on there, the stiff icy diamond just pulled or shoved something the wrong way, and something got fucked. That's all there is. So, laptop works. I can use it for web browser, Facebook, YouTube, but I guess I have some sanity since I can run Need for Speed 3, but Fallout would crash immediately, and I'm pretty sure MechWarrior 5 would bomb immediately. So